OPL, of course, brought to you by Hungry Jacks. You're getting a look at Legacy Esports on your screen right now. They're our next match. They're going to be going up against Blinky's boys from New Zealand. Well, not really Blinky's boys, but they're a Kiwi team in Tectonic. I'm, of course, Jake Swantiberi. Joining me on the couch is going to be Blinky, as well as Laura. What do you guys think of that first game? Direwolves looking as commanding as ever.
Yeah, it was a pretty sloppy first game, but second game they absolutely crushed them. So
what was sloppy about the first game? Come on, mate.
They got a lot of skirmishes when they had TP advantage topside, and you don't really want to take a fight when they have TP. So
ever critical as always, Laura.
I think they just wanted to have fun, to be honest. Sin are a fun team to go up against. You know, the Sin ARM down mid. Why not take it to them and fight fire with fire?
Every now and again, it is good to 5v5 team fight. However, Bryce and I have spoken about the 8.3 meta a lot today. What are your thoughts on it? How does it impact bottom lane? Have you got any qualms with it, or are you enjoying playing all these melee supports as an AD carry still?
I prefer 8.3 to any other patch. Pretty much the game's dependent on how good your bot lane is, so you pick strong lanes and then use your advantage other sides.
Talk to me about Nami.
Oh, I love Nami. Nami's how you say it, please.
Yep.
Very strong laner, can take control of any lane, even if you're at a disadvantage, so she's very good in lane.
One of Jake's pocket picks has pulled it out twice so far. Are you a Nami fan over there, Laura? Or?
I'm not really. I'm a Leona, Braum,
yep.
Taric. Wow. I love Taric.
Yeah, I'm a big melee support player as well. I'm an Alistar fan, so as long as Nami is out of my lane, the happier I will be. What needs to happen to bring the majors back, though, Blinky? Get Zara and MF and Brand back in the bottom lane.
I think a lot of it's about how strong the AD carries are. Because if you have a squishy support, everyone's just going to roam down to your lane and kill you. So as soon as mid priority stops becoming an issue, there'll be more mages in stronger lanes.
Yeah, nerf the hell out of Talia. Get rid of Rise from my game. Azir as well. Bring back Assassins. Give me range supports. However, guys, we are ready to jump into our next game. It is going to be Legacy taking on Tectonic. So as we get over there, you guys can do your prediction. I think that's what's happening. I just randomly ended up on a couch somehow.
Yeah, we've got Legacy going up against Tectonic today. I feel like there is a lot riding on this game for Legacy, more so than Tectonic. You know, they haven't picked up a series in a few weeks since they've actually had Mimic on their lineup, whereas Tectonic, you know, they've been able to take a game away from you when they versed you, Blinky, last week. What are your thoughts on this series?
Yeah, I think this game's very important for Legacy. If they drop this game, they fall behind at pretty much 5th place because the next 3 weeks for them are very important and hard matches. This game's pretty much going to be dictated by bot side. I would say Legacy's weakest part is their bottom lane, and Tectonic's strongest point is their bottom lane. So if you crush Raid and Decoy, you'll pretty much ruin the morale of their bot side, and you can take a victory that way. So it'll be 2-0 to Legacy. 2-0
to Legacy. You're not even going to give a game to your Kiwi friends? No? All right. I'm going to give this 2-0 to Legacy too, but there is definitely a potential for Tectonic to cheese out a win here. But if you would like to make your own tips at home, make sure you head on over to opltips.com.au, where you can win yourself a bunch of prizes such as XP Boost, RP, and we also have those $25, $50, and $100 Hungry Jacks vouchers up for the taking. For more information on how to enter, go over to opltips.com.au. Thank you once again for your predictions, Blinky. But now we're going to throw it back over to the desk with Jake and Bryce.
Instant transmission. Do you know what that is?
No.
Dragon Ball Z, come on, Bryce. You are absolutely the worst.
I didn't watch Dragon Ball Z. What did I watch when I was growing up? I don't actually know. I don't remember this stuff. All I know is that our couch isn't big enough for 4 people. Where's my couch? See, all I get is a stool. I'm just sitting back here like I don't have a back to lean against. You know, there's nothing there. I just have to sit up here. You get the cushions.
You can't complain about anything. When I asked you about Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z, and you were just uncultured in anything that is pop culture. However, this game, Tectonic taking on Legacy. Blinky thinks that Legacy's weakness right now is in their bottom lane. I'd like to get your thoughts on that and how they match up against Low as well as Tilting.
I think it's pretty interesting, and I kind of do agree. The bot lane has kind of struggled in recent weeks. Over the course of the split, obviously, they had not Mimic on their roster. They had Series playing the first 2 weeks, and they were receiving a lot of ganks down there because teams are going in like, look, Series is a sub. He's not a problem. We're going to focus their bot side. And that was when Decoy was just spamming Braum. He was just playing the doorman in the bottom lane. They were getting a lot of ganks their way. So I feel like earlier in the split, they aren't winning Legacy games, but they're playing pretty good. But more recently, I feel like they've been exposed a little bit.
Yeah, at the same time, I feel like Low as well as Tilting have started to improve. We were very critical of Tilting's champion pool. He seems to have shown that up, at least in recent weeks, and has been playing to a little bit more success. However, I want to mention a stat for you.
Okay.
This is where stats never lie.
Okay.
With Series, Legacy are undefeated. With Mimic, they are yet to win a best of 3. Is that a coincidence? Or is there something to this stat?
Like, yes, I think it is a coincidence. I think he's been playing well, to be honest. His first game against Pabu on that, I think it was in the Orn into the Gnar, was pretty rough. Actually, no, he was the Gnar into the Orn. His first game wasn't good. Second game was pretty good. And then week to week, he has been performing. Earlier in the week, Friday, I think their last game was, he was absolutely popping off. There were 2v5ing team fights. Mimic and Claire. Obviously, I actually live with Carbon, and I get some of the inside goss every now and again. And those two are great friends already. Mimic hasn't spent a lot of time in Australia, but those two very close. And then obviously off the Rift, as well as on the Rift, Azir plus Gnar combinations are popping off.
Yeah, they certainly are. However, Claire does need to play well today, as well as Mimic, if they have any chance, because he is going up against one of the young guns of the OPL in Shock. Shock, a champion. He was a champion when he first started. He was just a Zillion, mate. Shock, someone that we were very critical of his champion pool. However, you can see 4 games, 4 champions. Definitely dispelled that myth.
Yeah, absolutely there. And obviously has the things we talk about it week after week. The Urgot still getting value in week 5. We're almost halfway through the split.
Gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, they got to ban it, you know. Because that's all they're doing. They're getting rid of the wild cards. And I mean, that's what Cyclone's been saying in his interviews. Tectonic, they want to play on that side of the meta where it's like, we're going to play things that we know you can't get reliable practice against. And that's where things like the Urgot, and he did pick the Zillion again in the most recent game. So they do want to play on the fringe of the meta whilst also trying to stick to it somewhat.
Yeah, exactly right. So we'll see whether they can make it work. However, let's bring their lineup up onto your screen. It is going to be Tectonic. Paparazzi is their top laner. Swathe, their rookie jungler, who has started to impress more and more. That Camille game especially was something to talk about. Shock is their superstar mid laner, low and tilting at their 80 carrying support. Of course, Johnny Cyclone Weatherly is their coach. And they're going up against the boys from Legacy. They fly as one. Mimic is their imported Korean top laner. Sybil is their jungler. Claire, absolute monster in the mid lane at the moment. Raid and Decoy, they need to step up and perform today to re-breathe life into Legacy and Adelaide Crow fans everywhere. Soul Strikes is their big brain coach. I've lost the ability to speak briefly.
Yeah, maybe it's all the travel, you know, between the couch, between the desk.
I'm tired, man.
You're just parched.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say all the travel is in I fly up to Sydney every weekend.
Between the couch,
yeah, the couch and the desk, which is like 2 meters away.
But no, I feel like Legacy, Laura kind of alluded to it on the couch when you were over there, saying that they really do need to start picking up wins. They've lost 3 weeks in a row. And I mean, after this game, obviously this is Legacy sitting 5th place, I think. Tectonic are on the bottom of the ladder down there with Bombers and Sin. But it does not get easier. Their next 3 matches after the end of this day is going to actually be Direwolves, Chiefs, and Order. So if they don't pick up this win in convincing fashion, especially after losing to AV, struggling against the Chiefs, it is struggle street for this lineup.
Yeah, it certainly is. I believe Legacy are in the same group as Chiefs and AV. So 3 relatively good strength teams in that group, whereas Direwolves have Order in their group as the clash of the people that will round out the top 5. So arguably, Direwolves and Order have the, like, top tier teams right now. I use inverted quotation mark because we still haven't seen Order play really Legacy or Chiefs right now, so we just don't know.
Yeah, they had an easy start and a hard finish as well for the season.
But at the same time, Legacy are in that group that it is very hard to scrounge points if you start falling down against the teams that you play twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we've seen happen. AV taking 2 convincing wins over Legacy. But we are into this game now versus Tectonic.
It's going to be Callista, Zoe, Gangplank banned away from Tectonic. Another blue side Gangplank. It's going to be Urgot, Braum, and waiting for the last ban. Is it going to be something like Cassiopeia target at Shock, or do they just leave open the mid lane champions pool and say Claire can fight fire with fire?
Potentially, and pretty interesting. Actually going to be the Skarner. Yeah. We did see Swathe pick that one up last weekend, and we did see actually this morning, I'm not sure who was playing it in the NALCS, playing Predator. No, it was TSM, so it would have been Mark Young. Playing Predator Skarner. So it's a little evolution there. Gives you that extra boost of move speed to be able to catch on to people.
He's real quick when he has Predator.
Yeah, he's real quick. That's the point.
It's kind of real scary.
Yep. It's like getting a Lulu W, because that was the old school combo. That was the old school, I think it was Legacy or AV Ascension combo. Lulu, Morgana, Skarner. He's an unstoppable Scorpion. And he just eats up Raydeer. That
Tries
was the plan.
to grab Raydeer. That was the whole plan. Kidnap the Raydeer.
On that roster, all you had to do was kill Raydeer. He was the one.
Was he really?
Yeah, at the time.
All right. I don't buy into that crap. Azir picked. It's going to be Ezreal as well as Rise. 2 tier users grabbed by Legacy immediately in response.
And I mean, stylistically, that does make sense. Legacy, a slow early game team for the most part. So Claire picks himself up that Rise, looking to scale up, and a very safe blind pick 80 carry for Raid. You have to think that in terms of foreshadowing, that's already going to be a top side play for Legacy. They have that safety in the bottom lane.
Yeah, certainly looks to be the case. Claire can try and push out mid lane, use that global ultimate, much like Talia, to try and impact side lanes or help out Sybil in the jungle. It's going to be Ornn picked up. Wonder if Tilting plays it. We still haven't seen a game of support Ornn yet because it's just so influential still in the top lane in the OPL.
Interesting. And I kind of want to pose a question. At what point do teams stop banning the Urgot? And in the series, someone's got to do it. Somebody will not ban the Urgot against Tectonic, and do they just play it? Do they just like whip it out again?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I said this, and maybe I'm a skeptic on cheese picks, but it kind of didn't win them the game.
Yep.
And
they lost.
It got as far ahead as you can possibly get something. 5-0-0, and it still didn't win them the game. So I don't understand why teams are scared of it.
They just want to remove the wildcards there. And obviously, it was picked into the Rise, so we'll see another round of this Gnar vs Ornn matchup. Mimic going to find himself in this situation once again. But I mean, Paprise is no slouch.
Yeah, for sure. Paprise has actually been very impressive to me. And Swathe, someone that is starting to grow in talent. It's going to be Tristana banned away from low. And these bans are actually going the full distance.
Yeah.
Teams taking their time.
Yeah, to coach off here in the studio in Piedmont. And yeah, you mentioned Swathe. I feel like he's a player with a lot of variance. And that's kind of what you see with a rookie coming in. He can have really good games. And I mean, he can have really good games and really bad games in the same game. He can get super far ahead with that invade onto AV. Yep. And then just sit in the bush and throw away his lead.
Or he can get like be absolutely fine in a team and then all of a sudden engage 1v5 3 times in a row and not win the game off it.
Yeah, actually, because obviously spent some time on Chiefs, and Cyclone was actually a coach for us at one point. He called it the worm. A lot of League of Legends players, if you think about where your performance lands on any single day, they want to grow the head of their worm. They want to keep getting better. They want to push their ceiling. But all he talks about is pulling up the bum. You want to shrink the size of your worm. You want the head and the bum to be as close as possible. So on game day, you know where you're going to land. There's not that much variance, you know?
Yeah, so I always used to say this about SKT, especially when LGD were good. I used to say LGD could play between a 5 and a 10.
Yep.
So on their best day,
spread.
They were the best team in the world. However, SKT came to every game and just played a 9.
Yep.
And what happens if you roll the dice 5 times, you generally don't...
You take the 9.
Yeah, you take the 9 every single time. Zach's going to be locked in. 80 carry and support pools have been shredded, so it's going to be a Sivir lane. Just another Sivir comp locked in for Tectonic. Sivir Azir, always a fun one because Azir knocks the front line onto the back line, and then the Beyblade arena is set up for Sivir to go nuts. Tell me you watch Beyblades.
I have watched Beyblades. I was actually on a campsite when I was younger, and then what are they like? Let it rip, and you push it into the little arena, and they fight each other. And then one of the neighboring kids came over, and we were playing with him. So there you
Banger.
go.
I am so happy that he has finally watched something that I have watched.
Hell yeah, but it is the Sivir. Not the first time Tectonic have played that one, but it is a classic 8.2 comp. We're on 8.3 obviously now, but looking for all that wave clear, all that stall, and that kind of has been the name of the game for Tectonic so far this season.
And because they have the non-committal engage coming out of Paprise in the top lane, they're confident enough to give the Kha'Zix over to Swathe. See whether he can do his best Schönfire impression. And Deco is going to grab himself a TK down in the bottom lane, match some of the global pressure.
Yeah, potentially, but it's pretty interesting. You've already got an Ezreal, and you will just get shoved in. Tahm Kench is not a good support getting shoved in. He does absolutely nothing. Sivir just going to be ricocheting off the waves. Maybe you'll be able to devour the Ezreal out of a few Qs from Sivir here or there, but I feel like it just has to be for that global pressure, because in terms of the lane, it's not too good.
Also for 1-3-1, something we used to see all the time in Europe is if you can't defend the 1-3-1 mid lane wave, then Tahm Kench just like takes your 80 carry and attacks a side lane, and you hope you win the race. So we'll see potentially whether it is because they want to go into a very serious 1-3-1 here. At the same time, I feel like Tectonic's team fight can just be like called in whenever they want. As Braum was banned away, they've got the Ornn. It is just such hard engage, even if only the slow portion lands.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to set up a fight up.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And that's just been the evolution of the Gnar vs Ornn matchup. Mimic obviously playing Gnar this game, so Ornn just finds it so incredibly easy to TP in, such a long range, slow down everyone, hit him with the Ram, hopefully CC them for long enough for your Sivir and Azir to just shred them down.
And I'm really excited about this game because Mimic, he's been playing against players like Parbu, you know, people like Swiper, very consistent top laners. Paprise is a good top laner in his own right, but if there's ever a time that Mimic comes in and carries that game for Legacy and picks up that first best of 3 win for himself in Oceania, he's in a good matchup to do it.
Yep.
I want to see him I want to see him carry very hard in this. So as we get on to Summoner's Rift, Game 1, Tectonic versus Legacy. Let's check in with Laura, who's with Cyclone.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm standing here with Cyclone. Legacy banned Skarner away from Swathe, and even though we've seen him play Skarner, was this a ban that you were expecting, and what are your thoughts on it?
I think Skarner's been being played increasingly in overseas regions. We've seen players in NA taking Predator and Aftershock and all sorts of things. So it's just really good if you want to battle, and we like to battle, so it makes sense for them to take it away.
Taking a look at your team's composition, what are your win conditions? What do Tectonic need to check off their checklist to take a win today?
So we've picked a couple carries that want to go to 3 items at least, and we want to take big front-to-back fights with Ornn, and they're going to try and split push us into the ground. So the tension is, can we hold them long enough to get our items?
We're seeing from week to week that Tectonic are a team that are improving steadily. What are your goals for the split? What do you hope to achieve?
We'd really like to be a playoff team by the end. You know, we had a bit of a rough start, especially with the schedule of teams that we played against. But at the same time, that's nice because it means we get to get all of our learning out of the way at the start, and then we can focus on performing against the teams that matter.
Well, best of luck with your series today, and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks.
The growth mindset coming out of Tectonic has always been there. Cyclone, certainly someone that prioritizes his players' mindset, and you can see cheeky ward over the back of the Dragon Pit, spots out where the leash was coming from.
Yep. Both teams spamming the missing pings out. I know both bot lanes did opt in for the leash there, so both junglers going to be ending up on the same side of the map. That will be top lane.
And let's go. All of a sudden you see the push coming out immediately. Ezreal can spam Qs at this stage and kind of equalize the wave, but as soon as a couple of Qs levels come in through the Q for low, this wave is nearly uncontestable for the Ezreal.
Yep. The Ezreal Tarm need kill pressure. That's all they have. They're not going to be able to match wave clear. So if there is threat of them actually getting onto the Sivir, actually potentially looking for a kill, Decoy has opted in for the Guardian, so it doesn't have that Glacial Augment, but does have the Ignite there.
You want him to flash, like, start licking him, don't you?
Yep. It's two-part. You walk up, you hit him with a Q, then you walk away, and you hit him with a fadeaway auto Q on the back end, and then eat them up, spit them into your Ezreal. So junglers might just clash here. Sybil's going to face check a bush with Kha'Zix. No. Does spot him out with a ward, though.
Yeah, actually now Swathe in behind. Claire's very low. Can he jump in and look for this kill? Gets the slow there, however, doesn't fully commit to the play. Heal is available for Claire.
Heal is up and also the root, so if he flashes into that one, would be CC'd under the turret. Swathe. Bugs don't like turrets.
Yeah, actually just going to jump onto Sybil, however, and do a lot of damage. Sybil has to get the heck out of dodge.
And both junglers are sitting on a ward, but neither of them know that they're in vision there. So Swathe, obviously in the 1v1 versus the Zac with the bug, does so much more damage. Sybil sitting over there, going to lose all of his HP.
That's actually a value sweeping Scrying Orb as well. Going to be able to spot out too, and you see whether he sticks around to maybe counter jungle a cheeky Wraith camp here.
Pings are going out onto him though, so Claire knows exactly where he is. The Scry's Bloom has worn out.
Grabs a big one here. Could be able to get away with the hop if he wants to. Sybil's coming around the corner.
Unfortunately for Claire, the orbs do hit in. Actually, he's committing to the camp. Sybil went on his golems.
Claire's now in big trouble because his wave's in a bad spot. And in
going.
they go, looking for the slow. Flash is available if they want. Able to get big damage down. They burn both these summoner spells for absolutely nothing.
And that's a big deal out of here from the mid lane from Tectonic. And obviously Claire has no unsealed spellbook, has that phase rush again. So going Sorcery Tree means he can't just back off. He can't TP back to lane with a tier. He's going to lose a portion of this CS and experience. His shock can keep him around. Sybil also basing.
Yeah, Sybil's gone back to base a couple of times already. Grabs himself the Hunter's Machete. Not the Hunter's Machete, the Green Smite for himself. A couple of extra wards. And Claire kind of playing with fire here because I feel like it could have been Dove. He has no mana. Obviously, Mana Flow Ban now up and available. Going to be able to give him a percentage of that missing mana back. But he's just taking the punishment time and time again. And
he stayed around for this long because he wanted to catch the wave. But then he ends up not even getting half of it because the turret shot, unfortunately too much, takes down the cannon, and those orbs don't actually kill off the range creeps. Gets almost nothing. Does now base and have his tier, but that's going to be almost 1.5 waves lost from him. So CS discrepancy in the mid lane, 38-24. Pretty big already, only 4-5 minutes into the game.
Shock is one of these players that just continues to impress in the laning phase. I think he's done a fantastic job so far of being able to lead this young Tectonic team. And, no, CS discrepancy in the bottom lane. That's actually bonkers. How are they getting pushed in? I was looking for the shop or something like that, but Low and Tilting just somehow are losing the shove. There's a Civil lane.
Yep. Potentially right now, Swathe is on the top side of the map, and they know Sybil is going to be on the bottom, so might be giving it up for a small portion of this, but you have to think they should have had priority. We were, of course, watching the fight in the mid lane.
Yep.
So they should have had priority in this matchup for basically the entire laning phase.
Forever.
That means that you can just walk up to the jungle, play some vision. Yep. So if Sybil's down on that side of the map, actually,
Swathe
Mimic
now on the top side. Mimic was mega, but he's gone. Mini will have
Wrong
to flash
side.
over the wall here. Does take one turret shot, so Swathe burns another flash. Now can look to flash on him over the wall. Mimic is still there. Swathe has his summoner spell available. Instead looks for the slow. How long on the hop? It's still 8 seconds away. And Swathe is just going to track him down. Do they give it a shock? They do. First blood for the mid laner of Tectonic.
And Shock, even though he rotates fairly late to the play, Mimic just caught on the wrong side of the map. Burns his flash as well. TP available, so he will be able to get back to that wave, but first blood going over to the mid laner.
And that's discipline. I guarantee 9 out of 10 times the jungler just flashes over the wall, expends a summoner to kill him quicker.
Yep.
That they know they don't have to burn anything if they don't want to. They walk that one out. And this laning phase that we already said is kind of becoming Ornn favored almost.
Yep.
Is now in a bad spot.
Yep, already going to have that advantage. Slight CS lead up for him. Mimic's going to catch that wave, but Shock once again trying to bully around Claire in this matchup. Claire does get the favorable trade, but obviously with his priority in the bottom lane, Shen Siva is still losing it, so Legacy gets some deep wards on the bottom side of the map, so it's a pretty big deal for them, especially level 6 hitting soon. Does give them the option of using Tar multi elsewhere on the map. That's a big thing. You can use it multiple ways. You can use it to get back to your lane quicker, to keep tempo. You can base and force a matched base from Tectonic's bot lane and then just go top and then gank the top laner and then force the tempo play and try and race down first turret there. You can use it to gank mid. You have so many options, especially with this vision control, especially with the priority they currently have in the bot lane.
Definitely agree. You can look for invades if you want from Sybil, and you can go in behind Swathe. There's just so many different ways that you can use both Ryze ulti and Tahm Kench ulti, so a fun comp coming out of Legacy right now. However, all the proactive play, apart from that bottom lane, has been in Tectonic's hands so far. See, level 6 has been achieved by the Kha'Zix. And low end's tilting, are like just missing CS as well now.
Yep, unfortunately for them. Right now, we saw Schoenfire have a great deal of success on this Kha'Zix, so...
Flash forward. They know that Claire doesn't have his available. Swathe hops in, and he's maybe going to look to pick up the kill. Cannot stop him, but he does get it in the end. Blue buff's transferred over to the jungler of Tectonic. That was cute by Claire. He nearly escaped. But summoner spells, too strong.
Yep, delayed the heal there. Kind of baited Swathe into not opting into that one, so he chased the Realm Warp, did get in behind him there, so finally do pick up the kill. Claire goes down.
Swathe actually using this tempo to counter jungle away from Sybil. This has been massive so far in how instrumental it's been.
It feels like an early game. A lot of teams are doing this to Sybil. The early invade, catch him out, Swathe, Kha'Zix versus the Zac. Then he bullies him out early, and Sybil just doesn't really have an impact on the map right now. It's been taking camps where he can every now and again, but even in CS, down a kill.
Yeah, he's in some hot water, though, because even though he's even in CS, his mid lane has lost control, so the shove is going to be constantly there. Ornn is pushing in Nah. I still think Siva and Tilting should be shoving in the bottom lane as well. So just the lack of control and the fact that you're a tank jungler that's behind means that you can be invaded. They can take everything away from you if they want. So need to be careful that doesn't get caught out.
And we have a potential play here coming out of Legacy. They do back on a ward, Tectonic's bottom lane there, so they know exactly they've gone back to base. Abyssal Voyage is still available. See if they do match the base, or if they do just want to push in, potentially gank Shock in the mid lane. But because he's pushing in, this is what he's doing. He's not spell flinging under the turret. He knows the pressure is there from the bottom lane, so he walks up to the lane, clears it out, pushes Claire in, and then walks into the jungle, tries to play some vision, spot some wards. Play something like that. He's currently playing towards the left-hand side of his lane because he has that pink ward in the top side river, so smart stuff out of him. Legacy, they're looking for something. Yeah,
everyone's here, but as long as he doesn't use the Q forward to clear out minion waves, should be absolutely fine to just farm this one up nice and safely. There's the Q. Still no trigger pulled because Swathe was finally in support and the Sivir was back in the bottom lane, so now the shove is there and Summoners returns to normal.
Yep, everything goes back to even right now. Gold lead 1,000 in the favor of Tectonic from that early game play. Obviously one kill going to both the jungler and the mid laner of Shock and Swathe. They're looking for another thing here now onto Claire.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Pushing
they
him out.
know that he doesn't have one of his
Sybil.
summoner spells available. Sybil also will have to fly over the wall. You can see very good vision control on the bottom side of the map. Legacy have some good on the top side of the map as well, but still just seem to have no pressure anywhere.
Sybil flies out of the Rift Herald pit, goes over the wall, and tried to slam his hand into a golem that was not there. Counter jungled away by Swathe, you have to think there. But Sybil, all he's done this game is a whole lot of running away. Unfortunately, in this matchup, falling behind early means he has almost no agency.
And they
Once
go
again.
again. Burn the flash onto Claire, though.
Yep. It's a two-part gank. They can come back later. Flash still down for Shock, but will be available long before Claire's.
And they get so much of his health.
Yep.
I mean, it's the little things. Even though the ultimate missed, so much of the health goes down. So now Claire's like, I don't have a flash. I'm probably going to have to go for a recall. He's recalling every couple of seconds right now.
You do have to compliment Legacy so far in their topside vision control a little bit. Mimic will be able to clear out that pink right now, but they have the Shen in the bot lane. They have on Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix already ahead, has that kill. So you have to think the kill threat onto Mimic is pretty high if they do pull the trigger on a dive up there, but because they've had constant vision, they're pinging out Swathe now. He walked over that ward in the red ramp. They know he's up here. So Mimic just going to play a bit defensive, going to respect it right now, but Swathe might just be looking for Claire.
Maybe this is all that it is. Maybe Low and Tilting are just letting themselves be pushed in. Maybe they're just playing weak side and they're saying, if we shove up, we can get ganked. We don't really need to control bottom side of the jungle. So, hey, we can just get shoved in. They're never really going to be able to hit the turret because Sivir just instantly clears the wave when she wants to.
Not to mention, we've seen other teams, like the Direwolves in week 2, I think it was, when they just Tarm ulti behind your lane. So if you push onto a Tarm and he brings his jungler from his inner turret behind you, one of the easiest gank setups there, so potentially
in saying that, Low just took about 4 skill shots to the head and also got chunked very low. So there's also the potential they're just playing lane poorly. Never want to rule that one out. Maybe sometimes the most obvious answer is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Good vision control gained here as they knew that the Rift Herald was being taken down.
Cheeky little thing you saw Low do there, especially in the lower elos. Not a lot of people do it. Fleet footwork obviously does proc, and when you're getting shoved in, he walks over to the golems, has no interest in actually taking the camp, but just orders it once for a little bit of health. Unfortunately, the Q's just going to take that health away, but, oh, another one.
Safest hands in all of New Zealand.
Yep.
Put him in the slips, would never drop a catch.
Yep. Oh, Sybil.
Actually goes in, that's going to be the ultimate landing. You can see that Shock does get the ultimate, has to burn the flash back. Claire trying to get out of here. Very nice taunt, but it's onto the wrong person. You need to hit Claire because otherwise the ultimate doesn't cancel.
Yeah, Sybil does land the kidnap there. The wall does not land from Shock, so gets himself to safety despite being very low. And this is a 1v2 now because Tilting ulted his way into the middle lane. They get a lot of damage onto that turret. That is incredibly low, and Low is also low.
Yeah, what is going on down here? This is bizarre. He's 16 CS down. Cannot get access to this lane, it just looks like. And they're just taking poke in the head over and over again.
Claire has a little bit of reprieve right now because of that gank.
Yeah.
Has pressure in the lane for about the first time so far, so.
Trying to break this game wide open, looking for the turret. That's going to be the teleport in. Very nice taunt onto Claire. Where is the Ornn ultimate? Here it is. Calls in the Ram, knocks up the Ezreal. However, that will just be the disengage. Mimic, yeah, as you said, completes. They're really looking for this turret. And I feel like Tectonic now just have to give it up.
Yep, they only landed one taunt, so of course it wasn't onto the Tahm Kenshi, just eats up Claire, and they get out scot-free from that gank. Questionable complete from Mimic there. So I have to assume they're going to get that turret anyway, but he does go pull through with it. Goes for the safe play. And top lane is fairly even anyway, so it's not like he's going to lose a whole lot of pressure up there, but both TPs burnt.
And that ultimate out of raid actually tells them a lot. Because the vision out of Ezreal's ultimate means that they know that the duo lane is going top right now. Little thing, but potentially massive information gained off that tempo play.
Yep, they still do have access to that Abyssal Void from Decoy, so can get themselves very quickly into the top side of the map. Once again, Swathe invading onto Sybil, but
I think Swathe should be looking to break mid lane turret with his Herald at the moment.
Yep.
It's already halfway done. You know that Ryze has just recalled after that play. Could have just plopped it down in the mid lane, and Azir would have been able to clear that one out very quickly. Instead, they hold it, potentially looking for a play onto the top side of the map, but you keep mentioning the Abyssal Voyage. Can just come in, and there it is.
They're looking for a kill here, actually. Trying to defend Mimic. He is not mega just yet. Low.
Takes so much damage. Raid has to get eaten up, however, on the back end. You see flashes away. Big wall coming out. However, Mega Gnar onto 4 people. 2-man wallop. Low solo will fall down to Decoy. Kidnapped from Sybil. Takes Shock underneath the turret. He's falling so damn low. Claire now gets up here, going to be able to ulti onto Tilting. Actually prioritizes Swathe.
Oh, and he stealths backwards. Actually, will get spotted out.
He's looking for Raid here. Can he jump onto him? No, he cannot. Will fall down to Claire. However, that is what, a 3-for-1?
And the 4v4 fight goes fairly even in there. Traded back and forth, but as soon as Legacy have that numbers advantage, Claire comes up. Obviously, Pap Rise, no access to the TP. Can't influence that play. He did deploy bot side, so the Abyssal Voyage coming up huge for Legacy there.
Yeah,
Tectonic,
but I think that's just a misread from Tectonic. Because they had all the tempo in the mid lane after Claire had to hard reset. They had themselves the way to crack the turret.
Yep.
You can shove mid lane turret down, push it to the tier 2,
yep,
and then force a play topside. Instead, they skip a step, and it bites them in the bum.
Yep. Some would say bites them in the arse, and it absolutely does. We see this one once again. Mimic approaching Mega, and that's the big thing. Shock is about to approach from the bottom hand side of your screen. No 8 is available for Decoy, so Raid gets the hell out of there, but a big 4-man ulti knocks them all into the wall, and you see Pap Rise bottom of the map right now, just hitting away at a turret as Claire walks his way up here. And the Legacy tanks are just too tanky there. They can't complete the kill. Sway played this fairly well. Actually, jukes backwards here with the stealth from the bush. Kha'Zix tries to get onto Raid, but he does know what he's trying to do here. Ease towards his support there. Gets eaten up, so completely safe.
Yeah, nicely played. You can see mid lane, they did drop the Rift Herald on it, but because there was members there, did not kill the turret. So Tectonic now, with no side lane turret, is going to be locked into a 1-3-1. Always hard to push into a Azir. That's why Legacy probably would have liked to have that Rift Herald. However, they do deny him the blue buff, which is a good first step.
Yeah, absolutely. Shock already sitting on about 30% mana. Obviously has that mana flow band, so can regen a little bit, but blue buff, obviously huge. Side lane control heavily in favor of Legacy right now. And they do have flashes on their engage. Zac has that one available. Mimic unfortunately does not, but they're just looking for some poke under the turret right now.
Yeah, just a little bit of spell thing coming out of Raid and Decoy. Raid, of course, can be very safe going up there. Tries to steal away a Raptor camp. This way takes a boatload of damage.
Gets a chunk.
Ulti, obviously one of those ults that does more damage if it doesn't hit creeps.
And then Air Drake will be the first dragon of the game. So we're 17 minutes in and neither team has really cared about it. He's a lonely dragon. He just gets left in his pit for so long. Fire Drake's the cool guy.
Yeah.
And he's got flaming wings. He's red. He goes faster because he's red, by the way.
I am a big fan of Ocean Drakes. Yep. If I'm in a solo queue game and I get like double or triple Ocean Drake, I'm like, ooh, we'll win this game.
Yep. It's real subtle, and you don't actually think about it a lot, but it's very good, especially it's kind of not good in mid-game, but it's good late game and early game. It's like a laning dragon. But then once like you have these mega standoff sieges at the end of the game, or you're fighting around objectives, you can just back out of a team fight. If you've got 2 or 3, you just heal up ever so quickly.
They certainly do, and you can see right now they're trying to break open this mid lane turret. They actually call in the ram. They hit Raid. Good knock-up Decoy on the back line. It was Sybil, actually, and Shock has to get the heck out of here. Tilting has gone too far forward, as has Pap Rise. So they're at least going to be able to pick up one of these. Root comes across for Pap Rise. He will fall down to Raid. And Sybil's still going. Kidnaps Tilting back into the team and is able to pick up another kill.
Really nice predict out of Sybil.
Oh, Mimic goes in, looks for the big play, gets a flash out of Shock, and they'll continue this one now, looking to pick up the mid lane turret in response.
Yeah, had his mid laner on the flank there, so just fishing for the engage that doesn't quite land. No flash available for the Meganar, so can't follow the carries of Tectonic, but they just greed for that outer turret. You mentioned earlier they had the Rift Herald and they could not take it down, and they're like, oh, this should be gone, it should be dead, we should have been able to get it. So they pull the trigger on a play, but Legacy collapse first.
They certainly do. However, 3.3 thousand gold is all the lead that we can really talk about right now for Legacy. They've got good map pressure. However, it hasn't been their early game that's a problem. Yep. Legacy's early games actually look quite clean. If they make it to the very late game, that also looks okay. It's this pesky mid game that we keep talking about that seems to just be a thorn in their trunk. I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay, yeah. I like that one. I mean, the thorns come off the trunk.
I don't know. There's more of a stem or rose thing.
Yeah. Sway finds himself in the Legacy jungle. We'll just get the hell out of there. Baron spawning in 30 seconds, and that's treacherous territory for the Legacy lineup. We saw them against AV.
So this is normally really annoying to play as Ezreal, because you're like, I keep throwing skill shots at him, and he keeps just spell shielding them, and he always has full mana.
Yep.
However, Lowe's like playing the next level mind game. He's like, you throw the spell shot at me, I'm going to just take damage.
I feel like one of those things is benefit, and what you just described sucks. By the way.
All right, I was just checking.
Okay. Well, that doesn't have my tick of approval. So, Ray doing a little bit of damage right now. We've seen a few Triforce Ezreals, but he's gone for the Iceborne Gauntlet, respecting the AD damage coming out of the Ricochet from Sivir. Can bounce to the backline, but also just the assassination potential coming out of Sway. on that Kha'Zix. So Legacy once again setting up around the Baron.
Actually really surprised that he's gone cooldown reduction boost, because whilst I also love them on Ezreal, especially for the flash cooldown, sometimes you just need some armor versus a Kha'Zix.
He's already got his Dust Blade.
Yeah. He could, even with Iceborne Gauntlet, he's still close to 1 combo territory.
Yeah, but you do have a Tahm Kench, so he does have that extra layer
true.
of safety. So if Kha'Zix commits, and he has to hard commit, if he dashes onto an Ezreal, you can put a little bit of distance between you and the bug with that E, and then if Tahm is around to eat you up, then Kha'Zix, not a champion you like to see in between 5 members of the opposing team. So
I can dig it.
Yeah, Legacy looking for some picks right now. Sybil isn't on vision. You might just see him with the sweeper, they do.
There he is, does take a big load of damage to the face, but all of a sudden Swade needs to hop out, will get slapped back and just dies to the True Shot barrage. And now Sybil flying across, they're looking to go onto Shock.
That pick is onto the jungler.
Baron.
Yeah, so no smite available from Tectonic for 25-30 seconds. His death timer is right now. Sybil looking for more.
Yeah, it certainly is. They're not rushing Baron. They don't want it. Yep. And they're against a Sivir as well as an Azir. They're not going to be able to shove turrets off this. So it's either look for a team fight or look for a massive objective.
Yep. Gold lead about 4,500 here. And it is very early into the game, actually.
Yeah, tries. Oh, that's very nicely played. What the heck? He do-si-does. Puts on the fancy shoes. Flash forward will still kill him. But that looked great from Shock.
Shock
does nothing.
Yeah. Tries to live. But unfortunately, the flashes follow up there from Sybil to slam him against the turret, but the wall does not land on the Zac. Oh, actually.
Flash forward out of Swade. That will be the snipe out of the Ornn ultimate. Haven't used it for assassination potential before.
That's the first time the Rams got a kill. Where's the 6th player on the scoreboard for Tectonic?
That's cool.
Because he should have the 1-0 and 0 right now.
I'm a big fan of that Ram, by the way. I wonder if it has a name.
I don't know. What's the Forge God? Is it just the Forge God?
Yeah, but that's a crap. That's like a
he's
title.
on the Forge God, and he's like, it's the call of the Forge God.
Yeah. So we call. Yeah, he makes the call, and then the Ram comes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you had a Ram, what would you name it?
I don't know. I've never had a Ram.
Yeah, no. That's why I said if.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a good naming person, you know. What would you name your Ram?
Did you have animals? Is it?
No, I had fish.
Fish? What did you call your fish?
Probably like Steve or something. I don't know.
I have a bunny rabbit
called Ted.
Yeah, his name's Theodore.
Yeah, I back it.
Teddy for short.
Oh yeah. But
I think Teddy's a great name. I wanted to call my son Ted. And then I think like How I Met Your Mother or something colored Jenna's opinion of it. So I was like, all right, well, the bunny rabbit gets to be called Ted then.
Yeah. So, Legacy right now, side lanes are pushed in after that play. And it was a nice play from Shock. He did unfortunately get kidnapped through his wall. Unstoppable is the Zac when he casts that ulti. So, just slightly mistimed, but then he goes forward, dashes back. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to live there. Legacy once again setting up around the Baron. There is a ward on the pit from Tectonic, so they no Legacy aren't on it just quite yet, but you have to assume Sweeper is available for Sybil. Pops it there.
But this is one of those comps that you do not want to do Baron against.
Yep.
Because if it's a 5v5 and they get in, big knock-up can come out of Ornn, and then that is really the battle arena that Azir and Sivir can absolutely rip you apart in.
Yep.
Magic damage, AD damage, both of them are just AoE. And they can really put in the pain. So you can see that Legacy are very hesitant to do it. Also, maybe because you're brutally critical of Legacy's Barons and they just don't like being judged by Egypt anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's it. I mean, yesterday or early in the weekend, they threw multiple games against AV. So is it my fault or is it their fault for messing it up?
Right. We can only call a spade a spade. We can't lie to the viewers at home.
Yep,
Don't
absolutely
call us
not.
out.
So they're going to take down his ears turret right now. They just like tanking that one up.
I didn't know that worked on his ear turret. Sybil actually takes a boatload of damage and has to dash away.
Yep, Shock actually outputting a fair amount of damage right now. 2 items, so sitting fairly even with Claire. Yep. CS, only 20 between them, and obviously Claire has that tier that is stacking up overall. So
Sybil,
has that scaling.
however, has Warmogs, so can really, as long as he doesn't die or lose his passive, just get back to full health as quickly as possible.
Doesn't care about anything. He's got the selfish Ocean Drake, you know. He's got his own Ocean Drake, but nobody else gets to use it. So once again, they haven't swept out that ward. And that's the big thing, because Tectonic do not have to face check. And they don't really have face check champions other than the Ornn that's stuck in the side lane versus Mimic's Gnar. Yep. Shen is a tanky support, but he's a support. So in between 4 members of Legacy would die almost instantly. Yep. And then you have a Kha'Zix, just pure assassin. He doesn't want to be face checking. Last time he did in this choke, fell down to Legacy. So they're desperately trying to hold on to this vision here. They bring over multiple members.
But at the same time, Legacy are playing this game very slowly, and I feel like if this gets to 3 items, if a Void Staff plus an Infinity Edge is picked up on the side of Tectonic, it becomes really dicey to be able to win the game. It's
Absolutely,
just such a good team fighting comp. And Legacy eventually, in all of their games I've seen them play, go to team fights. Eventually, they will put 10 members on the same screen. And I think Tectonic's team just deals with that very well.
And unfortunately for Legacy in this game.
Oh, that's the Krug War. This is actually...
between the top laners.
Yeah, top laners love the battle over the rock golems. And Paprise just won.
I mean, nowadays, though, it's only worth 4. It used to be worth, what, like 74?
Yeah.
74 CS. It was like, you know, as soon as you get a Krug camp, you're zooming ahead in the CS numbers. But now, they're all the same. But I was going to say, Legacy actually pretty unlucky in this game with those Dragon Spawns. Mimic's about to solo out their second Air Drake of the game. If those were double fire, you have to think they would be much more willing to commit to a team fight.
You
if they were
probably
double
want
mountain, then they can burn away the Baron. All of these other combinations seem much better than the double Air right now.
Where they're just going to be able to zoom away from Siva, who runs really quick.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they do have potential. You can bring somebody down with the time Kench. You can attack the side lane and then give Mimic that window.
Yep.
Tectonic, they have no vision on the top side of the map, so it will be very hard for them to actually force out a Baron if you bring 1 or 2 members down bot side.
You can see that they're trying to wait in a side push right now, Legacy. They do not want to make the decisive
Sybil.
play. Sybil charging
go?
up here, looking for tilting. Tilting dashes away, so they clear out vision again. Paprise is just going to group up with his team in his window of his tempo, and he's going to say, come on. No, he's not.
Going back bot, wants to push the wave, and it's actually pretty interesting, tilting there. Warding that bush against a Zac, it's actually dangerous. You want to be hitting that pink in the bush, and then ward it later, because that gives him something to slam you against. As soon as he dashes to you with that E, if that ward is already placed, then he hits you with the Q, slams you against the ward, but if you hold off till later, he either hits you with the E and then has nothing to follow up, you taunt away, you're fine.
I like it.
Yeah.
So don't ward against Zac. You heard it here first.
Sell
the site, Stone.
That's what I said. Mimic, that's a proc Mega. That's 25% of the health of Paprise, but he's going to be completely fine. It's one of those lanes where Mimic doesn't want to be Mega right now.
Yeah, it is.
Just
and
chase him
it's
down.
also a lane where Mimic, I think, should have been building for the split push and is built purely for the 5v5 team fight.
Yep,
got himself a Black Cleaver, but also a Randuin's, as well as the making of the Abyssal Mask. Not Abyssal Mask, Adaptive Helm.
Adaptive Helm, yep.
Why are all magic items now like something you wear on your head?
I don't know. I mean, you've got a lot of staffs, and you've got books.
To be
I feel like
cloaks
staffs and books are overrated.
No, but I mean magic resistance. So
Yeah,
all of the
okay.
magic resistance items used to be like cloaks and stuff like that. But now they're all headwear. I'm not a fan of headwear.
Yeah.
I always like to do my hair.
Yeah, okay.
You a hat guy?
A little bit. Blinky's a hat guy.
Blinky is a
I
hat
want a
guy.
Blinky hat.
What kind of hats do you wear?
Just snapbacks. Every now and again.
Oh.
I like beanies, but I look like an idiot in a beanie. Oh, that was a struggle. Look like an idiot in a beanie.
You also sounded like an idiot trying to say you look like an idiot in a beanie.
So?
What about fedoras?
Oh, no. What do you... What? What do you mean?
Just saying you're a bit of an edgelord sometimes.
Oh,
Adrian.
okay. I don't wear fedoras, thank you very much.
I'm a big beanie fan. I'm
Somebody's
also a
gonna
big scarf
Photoshop
fan.
that.
You're a big scarf fan.
Yeah, I love scars. Bit of a contest over the red buff. Mimic. Lost the last one of the golems. Can he beat the 80 carry instead of the top laner? No, just does reset it here.
But
that
at
is
the
2
same
members of Tectonic down here.
Yeah, I was going to say, that should be the signal to start up the
They
Baron.
do.
It is going to be the case. And all of a sudden, Logis has to run there. It isn't a quick Baron by any stretch of the imagination, but with no one there, it will eventually fall down. They scryed off, and they just turn.
They have Abyssal Void to get behind them if they do want to go for the deep engage, but Mimic is exhausted right now. The Mega Pop before, so that means he's not available for the back end of that team fight. He does just go back to his red buff. Now it's a 1v1, not a 2v1. Who gets it?
This is a funny game. Looks like Paprise.
Hey.
No, Mimic got it.
Yep. Mimic has more damage, whereas the Bellows Breath does a little bit over time.
But in saying that, Void Staff picked up right now. You can see in the bottom lane working towards an Infinity Edge. Even though there's 4 items right now on the Ezreal, Raid very far ahead in gold, and of course there's going to be, 3.5 items picked up for the Rise as well. The team fight still looks okay with Tectonic. This is one of the games where you genuinely can say, we scale it, and it's not a meme.
Yep.
You actually are scaling very nicely.
I mean, that's what Tectonic has tried to do week after week. First week looked real rough, got absolutely stomped. And then the next coming weeks, they win a game. Is today the start of winning matches, winning sets overall for Tectonic, possibly against Legacy. You mentioned we scaling, 6,000 gold behind now, but Air Drakes don't mean a lot later as we go, and Legacy pretty tentative around the Baron so far, and I think you have to kind of attribute it to 8.3. If Claire was an unsealed Spellbook Rise, and he can have TP right now, and you put him bot and Mimic top,
Yep.
I feel like it changes the complete course of this game right now. Mimic can force things around the top side of the map, But Claire, all he's doing is waiting for Azir, who has the safety of his turret, to push out that wave, and then he goes top, pushes it back in, and then doesn't have a whole lot of pressure.
But in saying that, I think they are lacking a little bit of creativity in this setup, as maybe finally they've got it this time. Tilting takes a lot of damage. I think that you can take Ryze bottom lane, still attack the split push with Mimic.
Yep.
And then just play defensively everywhere else on the map, and then Ryze ulti up into mid lane, look for the Baron anyway. They just, honestly, trading farm back and forward. And I mean, I sound like a broken record. I don't think they win late game.
Yep, they're looking for a bit of a bait here. They're not choosing to start it up. A lot of pink wards in the river, so Tectonic don't know, but Swathe checking from the left will just see them.
Yep. All right, cool.
And
hey guys, they're not doing Baron. They're kind of just standing next to Baron.
Just menacingly.
Wasn't even really menacingly.
I mean, Zach was pretty menacing. He has big arms, and he was charging up. Everyone else was kind of just standing there. Interesting, you don't see Raid doing who coined it? The AD carries just stepping back and forward, because there was that visual bug where you couldn't see the auto attacks. And you can be on an Ezreal, you can be throwing Qs and Ws, not hitting the Baron, but just pretend like you're shooting the Baron. Yeah. Just cancel all the autos, you know, throw some Qs left and right. Don't actually start it up, but they think you have.
Decoy gets a little bit impatient, steps up, takes some of his health, low. Also catches 3 skill shots in response and takes some of his health.
Grey health, going to heal him back up a little bit, and conditioning procced as well, obviously, from that result.
So, see, this is what I'm talking about. The Azir is really starting to do some good damage, and this time they go into Baron and they actually just start hitting it. But now everyone from Tectonic is just going to look for the fight. Sybil's half health.
Yeah, he is, and he actually gets his
E no E there. So in they go. Claire actually looking for a call of the Forge God. Actually gets everyone. Mimic on the backline is about to go Mega. However, dies beforehand. And Legacy, what the heck are you doing?
They finally get impatient. They're frustrated. They can't set up the Baron. They don't have enough members. They finally pull Mimic over, but he's mini. And by the time he'd actually charged up that Mega, the CC chain comes out. And we mentioned the scaling at a Tectonic Sivir and the Azir doing so much damage. The CC chain means they lose 2 members, and Tectonic finally get control of the game.
Yeah, exactly right. Now they're going to look to push in mid lane turret. Papyrus actually just protects the creep wave. He's going to tank that one up. Very tanky fellow, however. Now this is a 3v3. Sybil goes, interrupts Papyrus, and will look to kidnap all of the members. Papyrus will fall down. One more time, confusing play out of both of these teams. Swathe is here now, trying to protect the 3-man unit. However, Claire's still going, Sybil's still going. Bo turns around, looks for some damage. But the slap will not go through. Claire still trying to chase them down, gets the speed up. And this now should be Baron for the Legacy lineup.
And Tectonic bite off more than they can chew. They did have advantage temporarily, but still behind in gold means that Legacy just clawed their way back, and this might be the ability to start up the Baron finally.
Yeah, potentially looks to be the case. Shen ulti is still available. They can still look to maybe contest 7,000 health, and it doesn't look like they're going to. I mean, this is such a confusing game. Legacy with their indecision around Baron, and then Tectonic, after they win a team fight, are like, they only have 3 members left, so we can send 3 members mid lane and 2 members into a forest and into a top lane.
But it's still a 3v3 mid. If they've only got 3 members and you got 5, but you bring 3, it's still even, and they're up in gold, so they do more damage. Sybil was a nice spell shield. When he gets onto low, keeps him safe temporarily there, but ends up kidnapping the Ornn. He goes down. TPs still are available. Neither of these teams can really generate any form of side lane pressure. Claire, obviously I mentioned before, no spellbook, so he can't do anything. And then Mimic, team fight build, doesn't do enough damage to force Papyrus out, so both these teams just walk to the plays eventually.
Yeah, but you can see big items now coming out of Legacy. Raid approaching 6 items. Claire approaching 6 items right now. They're going to grab themselves another Constellation Dragon. At the same time, potentially a Death Cap going to be coming out for Shock next. QSS picked up for low.
Yeah, but we mentioned the stalling potential out of the Sivir and the Azir. See if Legacy can actually pull the trigger on a dive. They've struggled to make any sort of proactive play for a while now. But now that they have their hands on the Baron, Claire's in the bottom lane. We'll be able to push this one in very quickly, but a lot of members are around mid for Tectonic. Papyrus is walking over, so they might just look for a fight. Could be a 5v3 if they get the engage.
You can see Sybil slap someone back, already has been eaten up. Shock takes a little bit of damage, and instead Legacy just going to prioritize the turret, and I like this. They've got a good 1-3-1 comp, never in doubt. Actually surprised they didn't go to this earlier.
Yeah, just trying to break the inner ring here, so going to play with this pseudo pressure, push in all the waves, and then just float between. Deny vision in the jungle, and Tectonic have to take the longer way through their base. They have to respect it here, but Claire will actually stay in the bottom side of the map right now, going to be pushing in. If they have to answer with Shock, that means Legacy should just get this one as well.
Yeah, it looks to be the case. Low is just taking so many Mystic shots to the face. will fall incredibly low. Sybil also has to get eaten there.
Yep, as soon as Shock arrives, the wave disintegrates, and they're actually just going to go top. Yep. Baron up that wave, Abyssal Voyage.
So this is much nicer play out of Legacy. Once they have the Baron secured, they definitely know how to jockey around, position themselves in the map. That just got them 3 turrets for absolutely nothing. They'll have boatloads of gold. They can now go for the hard reset. But it's what they do after this that's important.
I mean, it took them 10 minutes to get the Baron.
Yeah.
And then about a minute with
Sybil actually breaks the spell shield, although now has to ulti himself out. Is that finally the signal for them to go? Call of the Forge got available. Sybil very low health, but no, they just decide to back out.
Yeah, tilting actually taunts back to the base, but I was saying Legacy, it took them 10 minutes to get the Baron, and then once they had it, about a minute to break the inner ring. Yep. Just seems so easy once they've got it, but they struggled to get there, so now nothing broken inside the base though, so Tectonic still have a leg to stand on so far. Gold lead, about 9,000 in favor of Legacy.
But this was very nearly a mirror image of what happened against Avant.
Yep.
Like such a good, promising early game, the ability to pressure out waves, and then just indecision around a major objective. However, the difference this game is they didn't get as punished for giving up the 2 kills.
Yep, Tectonic threw it back. Legacy are like, here you go, guys, have a Baron, and Tectonic are like, no thanks.
Thanks, but no thanks.
I don't want that
We
one.
deserve to earn our objectives, thank you, sir.
We win a hard game.
We don't want charity.
Yeah. So, Legacy got 3 turrets with the Baron already, looking for more, but it's almost out, just a sliver left.
So Raid's massive right now, 17,000 gold to 14,000 gold.
3,000 up.
Yep, full item.
About 2,000 in the mid lane as well, so the carries. Big gold leads for Legacy, everyone else within about 1,000-ish. Wait, might find himself in front of Sybil once again, nothing to slam it into, so there we go, the wards. Nobody placed a ward. There's a few interactions like that when you're talking about Elise. And she's in the Baron pit. Don't ward over the wall, because she'll just rappel down over the other side. You'll give her an escape. Some small things to think about. Sybil, mega front line.
Damage.
Yep. But got that wall mogs, obviously, and the Ocean Drake as well. As long as he doesn't take too much and doesn't have to expend a cooldown like the ulti, he's fine to keep doing this.
So this becomes a 6-item game right now for Tectonic.
Yep.
They want everyone to have all the items available to them. They're not going to look to play League of Legends for the next couple of minutes. And this game now becomes, how can we optimize our build if you are Legacy? Because they've already nearly capped out on every single member. So does Raid start selling, picking up something like a Trinity Force? They really wish they had Papyrus, by the way, because then they could build the Quadrinity Force and the Molten Edge and whatever the heck else you build.
Yeah, but they can't. I think the problem right now for the Split Bush and Legacy, the waves are not crashing at the same time. Sybil trying to help clear down here, but multiple members of Tectonic can come. Yep. Bit of a chunk. Horn ulti boost popped.
God is here and will get a 2-man knock-up. They're looking for Sybil, who actually
going.
re-engages. Gets actually cancelled and now will be blob-littered. And you can see they want to continue this. Papyrus actually flashes forward, but they will just take the 1 pick. And somehow on the other side of the map, Swaith is just... Oh, actually, no. That's going to be tilting. And Low taking a little bit of damage.
Q does not land onto Low, so he's absolutely fine there. Is Swaith enough
starting to do some good damage. And that's what I was saying. How is the Gnar holding off... how is the Kha'Zix holding off the Gnar right now?
Yeah, I mean, once he pops Mega, it's very hard for him to actually hit the turret. It cost Swaith half his HP and all of his mana bar there, but 5 members of Tectonic are still alive. Sybil down, so you have to think Legacy were backing away. But I want to mention the setup from Legacy. They need to hold the mid wave. You need to crash all 3 lanes at once. Because what happens is you crash both the side lanes, and top, all you need as Tectonic is to do send 1 person. All they sent was the Kha'Zix.
Oh, Swaith in some trouble here.
Yep.
Has actually been spotted out. However, Low now is onto Decoy. And Raid actually takes some damage. Goes over the wrong side of the wall, however, should be safe.
Goes over to Claire, so does have the safety there.
I'm a nervous wreck for
Heart
Legacy.
palpitations. Yeah.
I can't imagine how Legacy feels for Legacy.
Yep.
Because they really deserve one of these wins.
Yep. But they're struggling here. The
They're
base
making
is
it
yet to be
very
broken.
hard for themselves.
Yeah, bot turret is very low. Baron spawning as well as Dragon in about 30, 40 seconds-ish respectively. So we've almost reached the 40-minute mark. But to finish my point, you need to crash all 3 lanes. They need to hold mid-wave and then crash it with the side lanes because they're going to crash at the same time. Those lanes are the same length there. Yep. Creeps walk at the same speed, so
how do you do that?
Doing that one.
Is that about, you clear out range and leave melees up?
No,
so
you don't slow push.
Pushes?
All you need to do is because you have complete control of the map as Legacy. What you need to do is just hold the mid wave. Just don't instantly clear it. Hold it there, and then with something like the Rise, actually no, Rise isn't in mid. Legacy has Raid, he can just sit in mid lane, just hold the creeps, just don't auto-attack, and then push it in when the side lanes collapse. And then you put this composition from Tectonic that want a 5-man in a 1-3-1. TP's coming out from Mimic, though. This is the Elder.
Yeah, this looks like they want to fight, and big damage will be coming out of Low. He has himself a hat. You can see split focus.
Ooh.
Not Low, Shock. Low has himself Lord Dominic's regard. So both of the carries really are online. Legacy are committing to this with Rai still in the mid lane.
Big chunk onto both carries by
Raid
Raid.
jumps forward, and that should just secure them, the Elder Drake.
Mimic, Naba approaching completion here, but
Ultimate
the engage coming out
up.
from Pub.
Yeah, knock-up is there, and they will actually commit. In goes Sybil, gets torn it up immediately, and will fall incredibly low.
Big.
Nah onto a lot of members. However, he gets shoved back, and the damage that comes out of the carries is just so damn high. Mimic will escape with his life. However, Jungler dead means this becomes a very hard objective to do. Tilting, face checking, will get slowed up and look to disengage. 1-for-1 trade right now, but honestly, Tectonic do more damage.
Yeah, trying. Actually, Decoy, looking for the Abyssal Voyage, wants to get on to the Baron. He wants to bring Claire. They might just try and race this one. They do have the smite on Swathe, but he's doing golems, trying to walk back up. They know there's pings going on to the Baron, but can they get there in time?
Yeah, Shock is so far away, and they will be able to just take this one down. See, Swathe now looking to come forward, is just being corralled, and the Baron only at 1,000 health. Now the successful disengage needs to come out, and it will. Very well played by Legacy.
Yep, they use their globals there to net themselves the Baron buff. Elder was contested. 1-for-1 trade. Smite goes down on Sybil, but they do get themselves a Baron there. And the choke was almost too much for Legacy there. They commit onto the engage. Mimic gets multiple members swept back into the team, but Low, QSS Flash, gets him to sit right next to the Azir.
Yep.
And when they have that Azir wall, Emperor's Divide standing in front of them, they're just so safe. And they can just sit there, two carries standing together, hitting the same target. They do so much damage together, but Legacy did trade the 1-for-1 here.
In saying that, as much damage as you do not want to be fighting a 3-Dragon Elder Dragon squad, as well as the Baron. So this needs to be a contest right now. Legacy pull it out of the pit. Swathe is on the flank for Tectonic. They reset it back into the pit. And you can see right now, Raid is just keeping them at bay. In goes the fight. Eat already used. Raid now on the wrong side.
Flash.
Big taunt flash. Sybil getting eaten alive again. Will fall very low. However, big damage coming out. And the two carries of Tectonic just have to head for the hills. In goes Claire, burns the heal, looking to just get that extra movement speed, and Shock by himself will get blown up with 4 members dead. Legacy and the Baron buff now should look to push and end the game.
And Claire hit them with the AoE onto both carries. Low and Shock chunked so hard. That's going to be the Elder going over to Legacy with the Baron. Shock. Sorry, Swathe is trying to corral the minions, but this wave is already in the base. There's nothing he can do.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing he can do. Even if he's in there, he's not going to be 1v4ing. Sybil goes down. Legacy stand tall. 43 minutes. It's not clean, but is it enough to get them game 1?
And Decoy denies his 80 carry the last hit in the Nexus. The 50 gold won't be going into Raid's pocket. But Legacy overall not looking too happy, but they do get the W at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's what I keep saying. Against these teams, you just got to come in. You just got to be able to pick up the 3 points. However, the constant jitters around major objectives is starting to become a major issue.
It is. It already is a major issue. They threw, honestly, 2 games against AV. They got 2-0'd. And they didn't deserve to. Yeah, 100% they should have lost this game. Tectonic got free access to the Baron when they shouldn't have. Legacy just way too tentative around that one. And you mentioned creativity. They just weren't creative with the tools that they have. They have the Tahm Kench, they have the Rise, they have these globals to kind of force Tectonic to run around the map. And that's what you want to see. Force them to spend more than one person dealing with Mimic in the bot lane. But they just try and brute force the Baron. They're just standing around there, four people, time and time again, trying to bait it, but it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it certainly didn't. At the same time, Raid and Decoy had much better laning phases. They looked much more proactive during that game. So there are positive signs for individual players, but it just seems to be either a strategy or a cohesion thing. I don't have the answer for it because, honestly, their setups in all other stages of the game
look fine.
Are very good.
Yeah, absolutely, but it just shouldn't take a top League of Legends team 10 minutes to secure themselves a Baron. That was honestly a 10-minute setup. 2 rotations of Dragon came through whilst they were like trying to get a pick, trying to find an avenue to start that one up, and just way too tentative, way too scared, honestly, from Legacy to actually pull the trigger on a play with a gold lead.
And at the same time, when you have a look at Tectonic's composition, you have to say when Swaith plays something with Engage, they look much more comfortable. His Kha'Zix looked all out of... as soon as it got to like 5v5 teamfights, his Kha'Zix just wasn't really impactful at all.
Yep.
So, like, both of these teams, honestly, a very confusing game.
Absolutely. Just 100% agree with you there. I guess there were signs of life from Tectonic. I think Paprise had a few good engages there, but unfortunately, Legacy were just too much to handle.
Yeah, exactly right. So after they do get the Baron buff, they're able to close out that game pretty cleanly. But to get their thoughts on it, let's throw it over to Laura and Blinky.
Thank you very much, guys. Legacy were able to pick up that first game, but Blinky, I'm not sure if they'll be too happy about that win. It wasn't the cleanest game we've seen out of Legacy. Coach Cyclone tweeted out saying that they worked on stalling with discipline this week, and he was really proud of how the boys pulled that off for this game. And I mean, they definitely did that.
Yeah, they definitely
but
did.
at the end of the day, Legacy's slow and methodical gameplay did get them the win. But going all the way back to the draft, you were saying you were surprised by the lack of ADC prioritization in the drafting phase.
Yeah, I don't like the way Tectonic drafted away from the Israel, because right now on this patch it's definitely the best AD carry, and they opted into the Sivir. But in the Israel versus Sivir matchup, even if Israel Sivir spell shield is the Israel Q, you still get the Klepto proc and the gold from it. So you're not really negating anything in the lane phase, so I personally don't agree with it.
What do you think Tectonic need to do in game number 2 to bring this back? Do you think they can take a game? And on the same page, what can Legacy do better to clean these games up and finish them quicker?
I do think Tectonic can take a game. They really need to prioritize their bot lane and get them in a winning matchup instead of just a farm and scale. You can see Legacy played very well from ahead on their bot side, so they had a lead and they took it and slowly ended the game. Legacy's play around Baron was very sloppy. That's something they've had problems with and they're working on slowly. But other than that, Legacy played a pretty good game.
Talk to me about the Baron, because you were saying, watching the game, that they're a bit scared around Baron, and they've had some unfortunate events in your games around Baron. What do you think their issue is?
So obviously they lost to us this week because of the way they played around Baron. They played very aggressively on it and tried to rush it. So today they're doing the complete opposite. They're trying to stall it and do like a drastic change where they're probably not used to it. They need to find a medium between both of them and like do it in the middle and bait and do the Baron instead of just like stalling and trying to wait for them to come into you.
Well, based off this first game, are you going to change your prediction, or are you going to stay with the 2-0 to Legacy?
I still think it'll be a 2 to Legacy, but I think Tectonic have the chance to take a game.
Well, we're going to have to see whether that happens. But first, we asked you guys to send in your questions for Blinky to answer, and we've picked out 5 for him to answer right now. The first one coming in from Joseph, who says, "Hey Blinky, nice name. Who is your favorite champion and why is it ADC Bard?"
Oh, ADC Bard is definitely a good champion. My favorite champion to play would, like Ejim said, it would definitely be Lee Sin because he's the most fun. And if I have to off-roll, I like to off-roll jungle and have a good time and, you know, jump around and kick people.
Sounds good. Our second question coming in from Cookie, who asks, "What do you think of Lucian as ADC? Press the attack SN3 of a crit build."
I actually have played him a couple times in solo queue. I think it's really strong if you can stomp lane, but in a competitive like atmosphere, you're not really like stomping lane and stuff like that, so you need to scale well into late game. And Lucian can get very punished in the early game. So in solo queue, I think it's a really good pick, but competitive, not quite yet.
One's not going to pull that one out anytime soon.
Maybe.
Our third question comes in from Brody, who says, "Hi Blinky, big fan. How do you mentally prepare for a match? And if you lose, what do you do to make sure you bounce back for your next game?"
Oh, it's actually really hard to mentally prepare after you lose. Mentally preparing for a match is, you know, you want to play your own game. You don't want to be too like nervous or too confident. You want to go into the game with, I'm going to play my game and I'm going to do the best thing I can do, and that's about it. And then after you lose a game, on game day, you don't want to worry about it. You go into the room, you decide what you did wrong, and then you move on. You don't think about it, you don't like worry about it, and then you go into the next game, same thing, confident, not too confident, and then you play your best, and if you lose, then you're not good enough, and you get better every week.
And you send a sneaky tweet out afterwards
Exactly,
on Twitter.
exactly.
The OCU way. The fourth question comes in from Michael, who says, "Hey Blinky, I met you at PAX. We had a 1v1 and I was Kled and you were Varus. Do you remember? And what would you say to an aspiring player?"
I actually do remember that game. It was really close.
What happened?
I tower dived him. He was playing Kled. He hit level 6 and it was really scary, but I just dived him and killed him. So to an aspiring player, I'd say something you really have to do is watch your own games. Be very critical of yourself because nobody else is going to be critical. Don't rage in solo queue. That's something you definitely shouldn't do. The only person who matters in the game is yourself. Like, the only person in every game is you. So watch your VODs, find out your mistakes, like even get your friend you trust to like tell you what you're doing wrong and slowly improve off that.
Our final question comes in from Insanely Sane. Love the name Blinky. Are you a Weet-Bix kid?
I am definitely a Weet-Bix kid. Every day growing up, you know, the Weet-Bix every day, but yeah, I'm a Weet-Bix kid. Thanks though.
Blinky's a Weet-Bix kid. And no one asked it, but what's your favorite chocolate?
Oh, it'd be caramel. So there's actually a story, right? So Laura from Riot with his Lothy PP, she makes us these little baskets every week of like foods and like little chocolates and stuff. And for the past 2 weeks, I haven't had caramel, so I'm really upset. And today I told her, so she came to me and specifically gave me one, so I'm quite happy.
She's a legend.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for sending your questions in, and hopefully you got a good mystery skin out of it. We're going to head to a short break, but when we get back, we're going to have Game 2 between Tectonic and Legacy. Don't miss it.
Meganar onto 4 people. 2-man wallet blows so low, will fall down to decoy. Kidnap from Sybil. Takes shock underneath the turret. He's falling so damn low. Claire now gets up here, going to be able to ulti onto tilting. Yeah, oh, that's very nicely played. What the heck? He dosey-dozy, puts on the fancy shoes. Flash forward will still kill him, but that looks great from Shock.
The wall does not land on the Zac. Oh, actually.
Flash forward out of sway. That will be the snipe. Claire actually looking for a call on the Forge God. Actually gets everyone. Mimic on the backline is about to go mega. However, dies beforehand. And Legacy, what the heck are you doing? In goes Sybil, gets torn it up immediately and will fall incredibly low. Nah onto a lot of members. However, he gets shoved back and the damage that comes out of the carries is just so damn high. Sybil getting eaten alive again, will fall very low. However, big damage coming out and the 2 carries of Tectonic just have to head for the hills. Sybil goes down, Legacy stand tall. 43 minutes, it's not clean, but is it enough to get them game 1?